So welcome back. In this video, we're going to write a program to print an array of integers in an increasing order. So for example, we have this array and what we expect as an output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up until 9. As you can see, these elements are not sorted inside the array. So how are we going to solve this problem? Actually, we're going to sort the array and then we're going to print it. So I made this variable called size and it contains the number of elements inside our array. I'm going to display two solutions. The first one is using bubble sort in order to sort our array. So first of all, we made this variable called temp and I initialized it to 0. Then we have this for loop that starts from I equals 0 as long as I is less than size minus 1. So I is less than 10 minus 1. So this loop will run up until I equals 8. So we are iterating over these elements. We are not iterating over this one, and you'll see why in a little bit. So in this loop we have another loop that starts from 0 up until size minus 1 minus I. So for example, in the first iteration when I is equal to 0, this loop will iterate also over these elements. So now what's happening inside this loop? Let's suppose we're at our first iteration where I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. So we're testing if array of 0 plus 1, which is 4, is less than array of 0, which is 5. So we're comparing these two elements. And what we're going to do is to swap them if this one is less than this one. So in this case 4 is less than 5, so we have to swap them. And in order to do so, we're going to use our temp variable where we will store our 5 array of j. Okay, then we're going to put 4, this one, in the place of 5. So we're saying array of j is equal to array of j plus 1. And after that we're going to put 5 in the place of 4, so array of j plus 1 is equal to 10, and that's it. Then we're displaying the array after we swap these two elements. After that j will be incremented and then we will be working with the next two elements. So now we have 5 here and we have 3, so we will compare them and swap them if 3 is less than 5, and so on. And regarding this minus I, I'll tell you why we put it in a little bit, okay? So let me run the program in order to see bubble sort in action. Okay. So, first of all, we're comparing 4 and 5 and we swap them, as you can see. Then 5 and 3, and also we swap them. The same for 5 and 2. And also we swapped 1 and 5. Now we're comparing 5 and 9. Well, 9 is not less than 5, so we're not going to do anything, as you can see. So then we compared 9 and 6 and we swapped them. Then we swapped 0 and 9, and 7 and 9, and 8 and 9. As you can see, this is the first iteration of this loop. In this iteration, we got our greatest element to be in the end of the array. So we got one element in its place. So we don't need to work with this element again. And that's why when I is incremented, we are saying here minus I. So when I is equal to 1, j will iterate over this element. And we will not be touching the last element. So this is why we see minus I over here. So right here is our second iteration of this loop, okay? So we compared 4 and 3 and we swapped them. Then we compared 4 and 2 and also we swapped them. The same for 4 and 1. And then we compared 4 and 5. 5 is not less than 4, so we're not doing anything. So now we're comparing 5 and 6. And also we're not doing anything. Then we're comparing 6 and 0 and we swap them, as you can see. And then we do nothing because these elements are already sorted. So as you can see, we did nothing over here. Now I is incremented and we will keep repeating this process until we reach this result. all the elements will be sorted. As you can see, we have 0, 1, 2 up until 9. So now our array is sorted and we can print it in an increasing order. So let me close this and I will get this code out of the loops and I'll remove this. Okay, now let's run our program, and as you can see, we printed our array. Perfect. This is it for using the bubble sort. Let me comment this and let's see our second method. We're going to use a function called sort in the algorithm library. Let me uncomment this and let's see what we have. One version of this function takes two arguments. The first one is where do we want to start sorting, and the second one is where do we want to end sorting. So we have these two functions we can use. So as you can see, I'm passing array to this one and array to this one, and this basically represents the beginning of our array and this represents the end of the array. So we're sorting the array from the beginning to the end. Okay. And also we can do the following. We can give this function the name of the array, and this is a pointer or the address of the first element of the array. You don't need to actually understand this. And the second argument is going to be the name of the array plus the size of the array. We can use either this or this. We will get the same result. Okay. Then I'm simply displaying my array. So let me run the program, and as you can see, we get the same result. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one.